Veggie Magnifique.
Hello, this is Chloe from Veggie Magnifique and Baby. And this is the second in our series on natural birthing because I gave birth to this little snoozer about 2 months ago. The first video in this series was all about my home birth because we had a non-medicalised home birth here in the south of France that went so well, and I was so happy to have this precious experience of home birth. So if you want to hear more about that, then please check out our first video in this series. But in this video I want to talk about how I prepared for natural birth, because there are a few things that I did in my pregnancy to prepare for natural birth that might well be of help to any mums to be out there, and I think it's important to spread a positive message about what labour and pregnancy can actually be. So the first thing that I did, and this is probably the most important thing that I did during my pregnancy to prepare for natural birth, was to protect myself from the naysayers and those with horror stories and negativity around birth. So how I did this was I just sort of created an imaginary bubble around myself of white light, protective energy, to not let the negative stories in and protect myself and my baby from any fear-based energies. Maybe this sounds a little bit woo-woo to you, but it certainly worked for me, and with focusing on that, this energy bubble, I was able to just let the horror stories just wash over me and not penetrate my sort of inner being and how I imagined how things were going to go for my own birth. So anytime anyone projected anything fearful or negative onto me, I just imagined this bubble, and that was really, really powerful. And the other thing that I did was just take everybody's advice with a pinch of salt. So when I heard stories about births going wrong and everything, I thought to myself, well, I'm not that person, so this experience doesn't have to necessarily happen to me. Maybe that other person is a more stressed out person than I am, or maybe they're in an environment that wasn't conducive to feeling at ease. And a lot of the literature on birthing does point towards the hospital environment being the absolute worst place to give birth. I'm not saying that you mustn't go to a hospital or anything, but when it comes down to it, we're mammals, and what do mammals do when they give birth? They find the darkest, smallest, coziest, safest, quietest space to give birth in, and a hospital is kind of the opposite of that. So when I would hear the negative stories and everything like that, I would just question, maybe that labour wouldn't have gone that way if they'd been in a different environment, or if they'd had a different medical professional taking care of them. So do question what you hear and trust that your body is a wonderful machine that knows how to give birth, that birthing is a natural process, and other people's experiences don't necessarily have to correspond to what you experience. A state of relaxation is the most important thing to attain when you're giving birth, because the hormone oxytocin is uber important for getting that baby out, and oxytocin can only be produced by the body when you're in a state of relaxation. So a meditative state, a state where you're breathing deeply, this magical hormone oxytocin is the key to giving birth naturally. And there are certain things that you can do to promote the production of oxytocin. So it's creating a calm, peaceful environment. It's breathing deeply. It's not letting yourself get into a fear-based mindset, which is easier said than done, I know. But know that as soon as you do feel fear, your body then produces adrenaline. And when you're producing adrenaline, you can't produce oxytocin. This information about oxytocin I learnt in my hypnobirthing classes, and that was another really powerful thing that I did during my pregnancy. I did it with Jodie Garrett in Paris. If you're Paris-based, then look up Jodie. She is fantastic, a really, really good teacher, and she's actually just had her own baby at home, so she definitely knows what she's talking about, and she's also got years and years of experience as a doula and midwife. So I'll share her details below. And what was wonderful about the hypnobirthing classes was that I did them with my partner, so he was able to understand about creating the right ambience for natural birthing, and also learn the different cues in hypnobirthing that can be really, really helpful during the labour process. So if you've seen my home birth video, you'll know that I wasn't necessarily in my right mind for thinking about the hypnobirthing cues during my birth, but my partner was, because he'd been to the classes, so he knew all the right things to say, which actually really helped me. And also it helped him to get more on board with the idea of doing a home birth, because everything that we learnt in the hypnobirthing classes pointed towards a natural birth where you control the environment you're labouring in being the absolute best thing for the mother and the baby. baby. And also it was lovely because we did the classes with 2 other couples who were definitely on the same page as us because they wanted to have natural birth too, obviously. And it was really nice to be able to share our experiences and just socialise with people who were on the same page. As a kind of a booster to what we learned in the hypnobirthing classes, I also downloaded a programme from the Hypnobirthing Home Hub by Catherine Clark, and I'll share that below as well. It was a PDF book and a series of MP3s to listen to. Some of them were relaxation music, some of them were positive affirmations for natural birth, and others were preparing for the day you give birth. So I would, during my daily pregnancy naps, very enjoyable, I'd put on one of Catherine Clark's MP3s, so it was great to listen to those daily as a kind of a booster to what I'd learned in the classes with Jodie. And the general idea with hypnobirthing is that it reframes birth, starting with a different use of language. So for example, they won't say contractions, they'll say surges or waves, and they won't use the word pain for birth, they'll use sensation. And indeed, I can't say that my labour was painful, actually. It was really just some new sensations that surely it was easier to cope with because I was doing the right breathing and I was in the right ambience and I was supported by my partner and my wonderful midwife, which really helped not to kind of fall into this vicious circle of feeling pain and then your body producing adrenaline and then the adrenaline making the pain worse and so on and so forth. But I have to say that actually the hypnobirthing preparation was more important during pregnancy than at the actual birth, because what it helped me to do was to stay in that positive mindset when I might have been assailed by negative things from the outside world. But since I had that daily reinforcement of this notion that birth can be wonderful, pleasurable, pain-free and easy and quick, allowed me to continue to look forward to giving birth and to maintain my positive mindset. With the hypnobirthing, so in the classes and also on the MP3 recording, there were affirmations, positive affirmations for birth. And what I did to reinforce that further was to write out some of my favourite affirmations onto post-it notes and stick them around my home so I could see them every day. So one of my favourite ones was, "My baby is the perfect size," because this little bubba was a biggie. He grew really, really well during pregnancy. And some people, even the medical professional who did our scan, told us, "Oh no, you'll never be able to give birth at home because he's getting too big," and all of that. And I don't know where that belief came from him, but I'd heard that your body is incapable of producing a baby too big to come out of your particular birth canal. So that affirmation really helped me to not worry about the fact that my baby was becoming quite large. I also enjoyed boosting my mental state around natural birth with powerful books and documentaries. So one of my favourite books was Spiritual Midwifery by Ina May Gaskin. It was filled with really beautiful stories of natural home births. And then she also has a TED talk about reducing fear around birth, where she talks about how it's bad manners to share negative birth stories with pregnant women. And so I'll share that link below as well. I also watched the documentary The Business of Being Born, which was really, really lovely and helped me to feel more secure in my choice of wanting to give birth at home, or at least have a natural birth. I also watched a documentary called Orgasmic Birth. So that was an interesting title, and some very, very interesting testimonials from couples who'd had natural births. So I really recommend that documentary if you can get hold of it. All through my pregnancy, I took really good care of my body and mind with Kundalini yoga. So I took classes with Haratma Kaur in Paris, who is a wonderful teacher. I'll share her website below. She does prenatal and postnatal Kundalini and other types of Kundalini too. And I found it so soothing because the classes were a mixture of postures that helped keep the pelvis open and prepare the way for baby, and also lots of breathing exercises which helped get me into that wonderful state of relaxation, and also some gorgeous songs that I now sing to my baby now that he's here, and he seems to really respond to them because I guess he heard them so often in the class, and I would practice at home as well every day when I wasn't going to class, always doing the same Kundalini songs. I also did sessions with a chiropractor every 2 weeks during my pregnancy. So we've done a video about this before, I'll link it below. But my chiropractor is Anaïs Badon in Paris. She's absolutely wonderful, and she's specialised in pregnancy chiropractic and chiropractic for babies and children. It is possible during pregnancy to remain aligned, and you don't have to suffer from sciatica or back pain. So know that chiropractics is a great option during pregnancy to keep you in good nick during your pregnancy and also to prepare the way for birthing. Another thing that I did during my pregnancy, which was really powerful, was embrace the fact that I was going to be able to create the ambience I wanted. So when you're at home to give birth, you can turn the lights down low, light some candles, have a really soothing or inspirational birthing playlist set up. So I really enjoyed putting together my birthing playlist on Spotify and thinking about how I was going to set the scene. And that just kind of made me feel all warm and fuzzy inside and made me look forward to the day of my baby's birth. As it happens, the birth happened so quickly that I didn't even have time to set up my playlist, to light candles or anything. But just the fact of thinking about that during my pregnancy and imagining the scene with glee helped me to look forward to it all. Another thing I think that's really important when you want to give birth naturally is to take really good care of yourself during pregnancy. So eat a whole foods plant-based diet. That's, to my mind, the best way to be in tip-top health. If you're on a whole foods plant-based diet, you might get some people from the medical profession telling you to eat an egg or something. Or get some dairy products in you or some meat for some protein. And the best way to deal with this kind of silly advice is to plug everything you eat into Cronometer, which is an app. And if you're eating a whole foods plant-based diet with enough calories, you'll see that you have more than enough protein for your own health and to create a baby. And if you're eating a wide range of veggies and lots of greens, you'll also be super high in iron. You'll get all the calcium you need. You'll be getting tons and tons of vitamins and minerals. You'll know that you're healthy because you'll be feeling great. So you don't really need Cronometer for yourself, but it's great to have it as something to show the naysayers so that you have proof that you're getting exactly what you need for you and the baby. So towards the end of my pregnancy, to prepare for natural birth, I also went on an hour-long walk every day, which helped to keep my body moving and to open up the pelvis, and also keeping my energy up, because I did start to sort of experience a dip in energy towards the 7th month of pregnancy, because I thought, oh, I'm so pregnant, I should just be taking naps all the time and not really moving. But my midwife said, no, it's really important to keep the body active and to reinforce your muscular structure of your body so that you can actually have the strength to give birth naturally, because it does take a lot of strength. So just to conclude, the most important thing that I did was trying not to fall into this fear-based thing around pregnancy. But I can't say that other people's fearful ideas around this topic didn't affect me. They certainly did. But looking back on it, my method was really to crowd out those fearful energies and opinions by doing loads and loads of positive things for myself. And the side effects of doing those positive things for myself was more general well-being anyway, so it didn't feel like an effort or anything. You will come up against negativity and fear-based thinking during your pregnancy. But if you're getting lots of positive reinforcement with hypnobirthing, with meditation, with yoga, with being around other people who are on the same page as you, then you can crowd out that negativity. And as the law of attraction says, a positive thought is 1,000 times more powerful than a negative thought. And as I said in my previous video, giving birth is a natural process. It's not a medical emergency. And the most important thing you can do is trust that your body is capable of this. So I hope this video has been helpful to you. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like these types of videos, and let us know in the comments below what your biggest takeaway is from this video, what you'll be applying maybe to your pregnancy and your birth. So it's goodbye from me and baby. Seems to be ready for a feed now. And we'll catch you next time on Veggie Magnifique.